this is part 5 of the front-end development series that we are working on. I hope you watched my last video, because from part 3 we set up the development environment, and in part 4, in the last video, we did a few modifications, we added a few things, and most importantly, we understood the concept of symlink or npm link, or also called symbolic link. Okay, so if you had not watched that video, go and watch it, make the modification that you need to. But in this video, we are going to talk about theming, okay, and why theming is so important and what difference it can make. Okay, so to give you an example of what this is going to look like in the end, I have a web page open here. So this is the core site. You can see localhost 3000 localhost 3000/core. So this is the mod.js core site that we will eventually work on later in the series. We're using NextJs when we are writing a documentation website, but for now, to give you an example of what theming is and what it looks like, I have this web page here, and as you can see, everything is dark in the screen here. Besides for the background is dark, the code editor that you see here is dark in color. The button here, these some buttons are dark, the links are white, and when I hover over this link, you'll see that there is a nice little background that pops up. I can go to another slide here. You'll see that all these fields here are also dark, and if I want to type something here, it is going to change into light. The colors are changing. Okay, so this is the, and by default, because this web page is by default using a dark theme, even if I refresh the page, the dark theme still persists. If I click on that button there, it opens a nice drop down, and this drop down is also dark in color because we are currently in dark theme. Okay, and if I click on that search field, it'll open a model. Everything looks dark here, okay, because this is dark theme. And I can also switch to light theme. If I click on that settings button and then click on light theme, you see that everything is getting light here. Okay, the code editor is getting light, the typography, the heading tag here is getting dark, the paragraph tag is also, the paragraph element is also getting dark. So this is the light theme, and again, if I refresh the page, the light theme still persists. But in the beginning, when I refresh the page, you see that the dark screen appears in the beginning, because that's the default theme, and the theme object is being stored in local storage. So that's why until all the components is mounted in the DOM, the first thing that we see is a dark theme, because that's the default. But this is the light theme. I can go to another page. You see that the theme is still being persisted because we clicked on the light theme. I can again click on the dark theme here and refresh the page. Everything is looking dark here. Okay, I think everything looks really beautiful out here. And if I again click on, if I go to another page, the theme is still being persisted. Okay, so that's about theming, and this is what it will look like in the end. And we will make a lot of modification, because your styling, you putting up things is not going to be the same as mine, but this is what basically theming does. Okay, so after that, let's talk about why theming is important. The first thing, the absolute reasoning is that it makes it easier for your eyes to see the screen. If you are seeing a really bright screen, if I do not apply any themes, everything is light. During the night time, it can really bother some people's eyes, so that's why theming is important. And during the night time, people can switch to dark theme. It's really easier on their eyes. Okay, so that's one important thing about theme. The second important thing, as a front-end developer, why we absolutely must implement theme in every single project, is because let's say that it's really bright out, it's daytime, it's 12 or 1 o'clock during the day, the sun is really shining right in the screen, and if you are using dark theme during the day when the sun is shining, the entire website, entire web page looks so ugly, because there is so much dust and debris on people's screen all the time. And no matter how good components we develop, no matter how beautiful they look, no matter how nicely they work, but in the end user screen we need to expect that the user screen can be really dirty. full of dust and debris. So that's why during the day, when the theme is light theme, that dust and debris on the screen is not going to be as visible, okay? And during the night, if we are in dark theme, that dust and debris is not going to be as visible, okay? But during the day, if people are using light theme, then that dust and debris is so visible because of the sun getting right into the screen, shining the screen, and then the entire web page doesn't look good. So that's another reason why I think theming is so important. First being, it's good for the eyes. It doesn't bother people's eyes. But the second thing is absolutely for the looks of it, okay? Because people's screen can be really dirty with dust and debris. I clean my screen all the time. I hope you do too, because as a front-end developer, we are basically trying to make things nice, and as well as make things work too, okay? Make things do what they are supposed to do. But that's about themes, so let's get into it here. So let's open up VS Code. This is where we left off in the last video. That was part 4. If you had not watched that, we made a few modifications, so go and watch part 4, okay? It's not that long. I think it's about 20 minutes, but we added few scripts, and most importantly, we also talked about symlink or symbolic link or npm link, okay? So you really need to understand that concept in order to understand everything that's going on. So I recommend that you go and watch part 4 and then come to part 5, where we will be doing theme here, okay? So the first thing we will do is, let's look at our architectural diagram here. I don't know if you have this or not, but in part 2 where I discussed about this, I explained everything that's going on here, and I also went a little bit too slow so that you can pause the screen and make this diagram on your own, okay? But if we come to, because we are doing theme in this video, if you come to mod.js utils, this is the package that will contain all the functionalities for the theme, okay? So in order to implement theme, what we'll do is under mod.js utils, we will create mod ThemeProvider. So this will be a file. We'll create light theme, and we will also create dark theme, and also to see if it's working or not, we will use this theme in mod.js core site, because in core site we already have a typography component, right? We will be using this theme in mod.js core site and then see if the theme is working or not, okay? So let's get into it. So let's come to mod.js root folder, under packages, under utils, under src, and under components. There is this typography component, because remember, we faced a lot of problem in part 3 where, because this utils folder I made a copy of the core folder and renamed this to utils. That's why we had, or at least I have that typography component, so I removed that. I don't know if you have this too. It depends on whether you copied it or whether you manually created all the files and folders. But inside this utils folder, inside src folder, what we're going to do is, let's create a new folder called assets, okay? And inside assets folder, we will create a new folder yet again called themes, and inside themes folder we will create 2 files called, so inside this theme folder, let's create a new file called mod light theme.ts. This will be a plain TypeScript file, and that's just the naming convention for me to put mod in the beginning. That's just my naming convention. If you have a different naming convention, you are free to do that. So mod light theme.ts. Let's also create another theme here called mod dark theme, okay? Mod dark theme.ts, okay? And in mod light theme, let's start writing the light theme, okay? So what we can do is declare a variable called mod light theme, and this will be a JavaScript object, and inside of this let's specify a property called type, and this will be a light, that is light theme, okay? And mode, So in this mode, we'll just specify the background color for the entire theme. If you can name these properties different, whatever property you want to name, but I think just to be consistent, just follow this for now so that you don't have any problems as we go on. And you can always change this in the letter or in the end. Okay, but let's specify the mode as FFF. That's plain white color, that's light theme. Okay, and we will also specify colors for typography for all the text. Okay, so typography font family, the default font family will be will specify a primary to be, this is a font called Koho, Koho, and so this is a font called Koho, but you can see that in the documentation site the font is differently, the font is very different. Okay, this is not a Koho font, this is a font called Rajdhani. It's a really beautiful font that I like, but that's what we want when the end user using our component, okay, end user using our library, we want our library to be as much customizable as possible. Okay, so when people use this component library, they can import mod light theme from mod.js/utils, and then they can override all these properties in the theme. Okay, so what we can do is what people can do is when they use the component library, they will import the mod light theme, and then they'll override every single thing that they want. Okay, so if they want to override the font family, right now it is the default is Koho, but they are always free to modify, to change the font. Okay, and it's super simple to do that. All they have to do is import this mod light theme and then specify the font family and specify primary to be something else. Okay, so that's font family. Let's also specify font weight. Font weight, let's specify 3 properties for font weight. One is 400, that's medium. The other one is semi-bold, can be 600. Okay, and let's also specify bold to be 700, so that'll give us a bold, medium, semi-bold and medium font. That's font weight. Let's also specify font size, and font size can be extra small. We can specify 0.75 rem. Okay, and for the fonts, and let's put a comma there. For the font size, we will be using rem unit, and this is also called a root element font size. So let's say that if the browsers, because people can change the font size on the browser, right? If they go to settings, they can change the font size. So we want to be really consistent with that. Okay, so if I specify, let's say that the extra small font to be 0.75 pixel, well, that's too small, but 0.75 pixel is somewhere about 12, 0.75 rem is somewhere about 12 pixels, given that the base font size of the browser is 16 pixels. Okay, but if we do 0.75 rem, this is 0.75 of the base font size. So if the browser's font size is 16 pixels, that's 1 rem. We want only 0.75 rem to be the extra small font size. Okay, so that's, and you can, I think it's always better to use rem for the fonts and not pixels, because if you use pixels are a fixed value. So even if the users change the default font size in the browser, if we specify the font size in pixel, the font size is not going to align with the browser's font size. Okay, so it's always better to specify font size in rem. So that's extra small. Let's also do small property here, and this will be 0.875 rem. So that's just a little bit bigger than extra small. Let's specify md, and this is always good to have medium as a common value. That's 1 rem. That is 16 pixels. Okay, and let's also specify a large font size. That's 1.5 rem, and extra large will be 2 rem. That's 32 pixels. Okay, the extra large. So that's for font size. Let's also specify color for all the typography, all the text. And typography are all these text that you see. These are all typography, okay? So typography basically means text, okay? Heading H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, H6, P tag, small tag, and all those are all typography, okay? So let's specify color. We can specify primary to be. For the typography, I will say the primary color for the light theme. And remember, this is for the light theme, okay? We will have different values for the dark theme, but for the light theme, the primary color for the typography can be 474747, and that will give us, let's go and look at here. That will give us this, not black, but this dark gray color. That's 474747, okay? I can inspect the element, and if I do here, that's the color here, 474747, okay? And font size is 2 rem, and all that will come to that later, but primary fonts primary color is 474747. We'll also specify a main color, and this will still be 474747. So this main, so we'll come to this when we are talking about dark theme, okay? Because I think in dark theme the main and primary are different, but in light theme the main and primary color are the same. And again, you can use whatever colors you want, right? You do not have to stick with the colors that I'm using. You can specify completely different colors, okay? But I think for now, just to follow along, just do exactly the same thing I'm doing. And once you once we have everything ready, you of course are going to not have the same website or the same design as I am, okay? And this is basically, we are doing this just for the learning purpose. We are going to learn TypeScript. We are learning TypeScript, React, so many different tools and technologies we are learning, okay? So for now, let's be consistent with yours and my code. So for the light color, I will do 8E, 8E, 8E. Okay, and this is the color for the footer here, so that I do not have that page. So let's come back. So this is the footer color, okay, made with love by fullstackpro.io. That's the light color, okay? So that's after light. Let's specify another property called secondary. So the secondary color will be C2, C2, C2. Okay, and these are all different. These are like light color. Again, I think this color here is C2, C2, C2. Okay, so secondary, let's specify white color. This is just plain white color, FFF, FFF. Okay, and let's also specify color for success, because let's say that when submitting a form, a snack bar, the component that will write can pop up, and if they want to specify a color called success, they can do that. And the success color I am going to specify as 5A6B31. That's a green color. This green color looks like this here, okay? But yeah, that's success. Let's also specify arrow color there. Arrow color C3C1F. Okay, that's arrow color. I think I had this arrow color here too. I don't know why I'm talking about color so much, but these are the red color, red arrow color. Okay, if I type it in, that's the green color, the green border. So that's the red and green color. So that's all for the colors. And again, you can add more properties. For now, just let's be consistent and do this, okay? Because when we are actually writing components, we will refer to all these values. We are not going to hardcode any single, or most of the things we are not going to hardcode on the components, okay? Because we want our component library to be really customizable, usable, customizable, extensible, flexible, okay? That's what our goal is here, okay? We do not want the end user using our component library to be stuck with just one design or just one pattern, okay? We want it to be extremely customizable. So that's for the typography, I think. So we have font family, font weight, font size, color, and after typography, let's specify some colors here for everything else besides typography. So for typography, we have all these colors. Let me remove that. But for everything else, maybe we want this green color for the buttons. For anything, or not green color, this blue, sky blue color for anything that's clickable. So maybe we want blue color for those, and for the yeah, I think so. Let's go ahead and specify all the colors for everything else besides the typography of the text. Okay, so let's specify again primary to be 1 if 8EFF. This is that blue, that sky blue color. Okay, so primary, let's also specify secondary. Secondary can be again 474747, just like with the typography color. Okay, secondary. And let's also specify main will again be C2C2C2, that's the light color. Success will again be 5is6B31, 5is6B31. Let's also specify error color. Okay, so this will be CA3C1F. And let's also specify light color, and this light color will be F2, F2, F2. Remember, this typography light color and this light color is different. This F2, F2, F2 color is, if you look at this code editor here, so this is the code editor on light theme, we have this background color to be like light gray or something like that. Okay, this is the F2, F2, F2 color, and the reason we wanted to do, we want to define color out of the, we want to define color in within the typography object and outside our typography object is because in here the light color is 8E for the typography for the text, and over here we are doing light, we are specifying light color as F2, 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 so that even when there is a text on top of this light color here, the typography with color 8E, that's also light color, so that it's the text is visible. Okay, which we'll see as we keep doing this here. Okay, so that's the light color. Let's also specify dark color. Dark color will be C2, C2, C2. That's again kind of like a light gray color. And again, we have this main and dark too as the same color, but we'll see the difference when it comes to dark theme. Okay, and let's also specify a transparent color, and this will just be transparent. Because sometimes we might want the background color to be transparent or something, so that's why we have that transparent. Okay, so that's for the color. Let's add something for the border too, so that the borders are consistent throughout the application. Let's not forget comma after each object. So primary, I'm just going to specify as 1 pixel solid, and this will be the main color. Okay, the main blue color that you see everywhere. The blue is the primary color. Okay, but the end users using the component library, they can specify a different primary color. Maybe they want to use a green for the primary color, maybe orange, black, red, everything. Okay, they can do that, but just because blue is widely used in documentations and all that, so blue color is we'll just specify that primary as that 1 pixel solid, that blue color. Okay, for the border. And let's also specify success property for the border. So see success 1 pixel solid, this will be the success color. Okay, the green color 5is6B31. Let's also do, let's actually just copy this here so that I don't have to keep typing that in. But primary success, let's write the error property. This error color will be CA3C1F, just like with the with this one, so that the entire theme is consistent. Okay, error, let's also specify light to be F2, F2, F2. Okay, and let's also specify dark, and you can be really creative with this. Okay, you can change all the colors. It's not that complicated. Okay, and after dark we'll also do none, and let's remove that last one there, we didn't need that. And for border none, we'll also do none. Okay, so what happens is the end users that's using the component library, they can just import this thing, they can override all these values, and it is going to get applied to all the web pages, all the components in their application. Okay, that's why we want to specify the theme file, or we want to use theming. Okay, and let's also specify border radius here. Border radius, I'm going to do that as 2 pixels, but then if the, again, when the end user want to specify border radius to be 10 pixels or something like that, they can do that. They'll just have to override this theme file. Okay, let's also, because we'll have avatar component and we'll be developing under core. Okay, so this, let's provide some avatar styles. Okay, height, avatar can be height small, it can be 32 pixels. Okay, and for medium can be 64 pixels, and for large can be, I'm just going to specify as 96 pixels, and that's not that. Let me fix that. So that's for height. Let's also do the same thing for width. I'm just going to copy that, paste it there. Width can be, for avatar, let's put a comma there. For avatar, width is 32, 64, 96. The height and width are the same. That's good. And for avatar, let's also specify brightness for the avatar. Okay, and this will just add a shadow on top of the avatar. So I think this looks really pretty when there is kind of shadow or something in the avatar. Okay, so let's set the brightness, and this is just a CSS property. Okay, you'll see this later on when this will be filter. Okay, filter is the CSS property and brightness 60% is the value. You will see this later. Okay, but for now just type, just copy everything that I'm doing here, and let's specify this brightness to be 40%. Okay, so the brightness is a little less here. So for brightness normal, for brightness dark, let's specify a dark brightness. Brightness will be 20%. Okay, so there is only 20% bright, so it's dark. So that's for the brightness for the avatar. And let's do the same thing for the image too. Okay, because we will have image component that will be used in card media component, slideshow component, and all those components. Okay, so let's copy and paste the avatar. Let's rename this to image. And for image height, I want the image height to be bigger. I want image height to be 96 pixels. I want image height medium to be 240 pixels, and I want image height large to be 320 pixels. So this is going to fit nicely in almost every screen, but we will optimize that when we are actually using those. Okay, so the width also will be 96 pixels. It's a rectangle image. That's 240 pixels. Okay, don't forget the unit there. 240 pixels. Okay, and width is 320 pixels, and we're specifying all these properties in pixels, right? For the font, we specified them in REM unit, but for the image or the avatar, we have it in pixels, because we do not want the image to enlarge or with the screen, at least for my use case, for my design, because that is going to mess up a lot of design if the image are not of specified height or width. We do not want the image to extend or to enlarge or become small with the size of the screen. Okay, we want the image to be consistent. Okay, so after image, let's also specify icons, because we will have a ton of React icons we'll be developing, and these icons can have their own height and width also. So let's just copy and paste this, and these icons will be small in size. So these are all the icons that you see here. This is a menu icon, this is a GitHub icon, settings icon, mail icon, copy icon, success icon. Okay, and these are all right arrow icons. So all these icons will be smaller. So icons height will be 16 pixels. That's the small icon. For a medium icon, it can be 32 pixels, and for a large icon it can be 64 pixels. Okay, I don't think I have any of these medium or large icons here, but but we will see. Do I have it here? I don't think so. Let me switch to dark theme. It's bothering my eyes. Yeah, no, I do not have any large icons here, but we only have small icons. But let's leave it to that. And icons height, icons width will also be the same. Or you know what, icons width can be a little bit it can occupy a little larger size, 24 pixels. Let's set that to 32 pixels, and let's set that to 64 pixels now, and we can modify this when we actually import icon and start working with the icons components. Okay, so elevation, let's specify some elevation. So this is going to give a nice box shadow. So if I don't think I have box shadow here. Well, yeah, this is going to give box shadow. If you see this contact us button here, there is a box shadow being applied to it. Okay, so this is for the, I don't know what that is, but let me see, can I find it? Well, let's just look at this one here on the drawer on the side here. There's this shadow, so that's the box shadow, okay, that I'm talking about. So let's specify this elevation property. Light will be, we will specify a CSS styles there, so drop shadow. Okay, and we will see this more in action when we start when we actually use all the components and the themes. But for now, let's just specify the drop shadow to be RGBA, and this is a darker shadow, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0.1. okay, and I'm looking at a note here when I'm writing this RGBA. I do not have that in memory, so let's also do that for the light normal. Okay, so let's copy and paste that for a little bit. So elevation light, elevation normal, and elevation heavy. So this will be a heavy elevation, and elevation non-property. Okay, so for the elevation light we have 0.1 in the end. For elevation normal, let's set that to 0.3. For elevation heavy, let's set that to 0.6. That is going to be really dark. I think this is the heavy elevation on the drawer, but on this contact us button there's a elevation applied to it also, and I think that elevation is light. Okay, I don't remember on top of my head, but that's what it looks like. And for elevation none, we'll just do none. So let's put a comma there, and it's almost done here. There's just a few things. So let's specify opacity too. Okay, and these are all global styles, any component. So let me explain this quickly here. So for the typography, these are all for text, right? So these are all just for the mainly for the text, the typography component. But any of this, all this color, border, this can be applied to any single component we will develop. Okay, not for the image, of course. Image styles will only apply to image, but all the other styles, maybe let's say border radius, and then elevation and opacity, this can be applied to any components. Okay, you'll see this later, but let's specify opacity to be the first property will be high. So a high opacity can be 0.95, so it's the opacity, it's not that blurry. Okay, and let's specify high and normal, not normal, sorry, that should have been medium. Medium opacity can be 0.85, and then let's also specify low property for the low opacity. Okay, that can be 0.5. And so for that's opacity, let's also specify scroll bar color. Okay, scroll bar color, and I will show you this in just a bit. C2, 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 that aligns with the other styles that we have, right? C2, 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 that's the light color, so that the entire theme is really consistent. Okay, and F2, F2, F2. So the scroll bar color, so for this one, I think C2, 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 this is the path of the scroll bar. Remember, so right, if you look at this corner of this where my pointer is pointed, this scroll bar that actually does the scrolling is the letter color. Okay, F2, 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 and the background here. So see, this scroll bar is scrolling on a background here. There's also a slight border. I don't know if you can see it on the screen, but this is applying the C2, C2, C2 color. Okay, so that is the scroll bar path, and this is the actual scroll bar. Okay, so that's why we're specifying the scroll bar color. So let's look this in action also. So for a light theme, you can see that the scroll bar color is a little bit different, because you see that the scroll bar, there's this color for the scroll bar, and on the background there's this kind of like F2, F2, F2 color, the light color. Okay, so did I say, is that what I said earlier? This F2, F2, F2 is the background, and this C2 is the main scroll bar color. Okay, and for dark theme we will have it different. So if I go to dark theme, you see that the scroll bar color is different. So this is what we want to achieve. Okay, we do not want to have this bright scroll bar on a dark theme. We want things to look really aligned and nice. Okay, so that's for the scroll bar color for the light theme. And let's also, because we will be having a tooltip component that will be developing under a core, so this tooltip background color, we can specify this as 474747, and again this is really consistent with our other stylings. Okay, the dark color 474747, and this tooltip is, so if I hover over that on dark theme, well, let's go to light theme because we're working on light theme currently. So if I, that's tooltip component, you'll see that the tooltip says GitHub repository and toggles setting store. That's the tooltip color of 474747 dark color. Okay, and users, when they are using the library, they can easily customize things here. Okay, so that's all the theme properties for now. Okay, we will add more as we go on, but to at least write the most of the components, this is already, we will come back to this if need be. Okay, so let's go ahead and export this. Export default mod light theme. Okay, so let's save that. You'll see that everything is green. This tsconfig is showing it red, but I'm sure this will it will not show any error once I close the VS Code and reopen it. So always remember that if ESLint prettier is not working, or there is some error that nothing looks wrong, but if it is showing red, just close the VS Code and reopen it again. Okay, that fixes most of the time. Okay, but for mod light theme, I think that's all for the light theme. So let's go ahead and copy this entire mod light theme and then come to mod dark theme and then paste it here, and then let's rename this. So this is not mod light theme, this is now mod dark theme. Okay, let me copy that and paste it down here too. So that's mod dark theme. Let me close that. So for mod dark, for the dark theme, what we want is a type will be what? Type will be dark. Okay, and mode will be, I have this 121111 color. So this is, let's switch to dark theme here. So everything that you see on the background, that's the 12111 color. Okay, the black, it's not completely black, but kind of like a dark background that you see everywhere. Okay, not in these fields here. So in search field, you see that the color is a little different. In, well, tooltip, the color is really different there, but for the search field, the color is different, and then if you come outside, the color is different. So this is the main mode color, and then again in code editor, you see when the content, well, this is content, it's not editable now, but this will also be editable, but you see that the color is different, and then the other colors, the main mode color is dark everywhere out. Okay, so that's the mode, and everything will just change the values here. So for typography, we want the font family to be just that. That's good. Font weight also good. Font size, we don't need to do anything. For color, we will change the colors, because the primary color for the dark theme will not be 474747, because 474747 is a dark color, and if we have typography, this typography API, this is the heading, if we have this dark color, then it won't be visible on the screen because our theme is dark. So okay, so we will need to change this color to white color. FFF, that's white color, that's the primary color. So this heading tag has a white color. This paragraph element will probably have a light color. So let's go ahead and do that. So for typography color, primary is white, main is C2, that light color. Okay, light gray color. For light, this will still be 8E. That is a kind of like a darker gray color. For secondary, we will have the secondary color as 474747. Okay, for white, we can leave that to white. For success, the color is the same, error, color is the same. Okay, so after typography, let's come down to this this global color property. So for this color property, primary will still be that blue, even in dark theme. I think the blue looks quite good here. Okay, so the primary will be blue, secondary will be FFF, that's white color. Main will be still be C2, Success error remains the same. Light color, we will change this light color 1F1D1D. Okay, and this light color 1F1D1D is the color that you see inside this text field. Okay, and inside this code editor also, this is the that light color. Okay, and for dark color we will do 474747, and for transparent will just be transparent. Okay, so for border we will change this here too. So primary will still be the same, that blue color. Success same, error same. Well, light color will change here, so light color will be just like this light color here, so that the theme is really consistent. Okay, and for dark color will be this 474747 color. Okay, for the border, and border none will just be none. For border radius can stay 2 pixels in both the light theme and dark theme. It doesn't make sense to change the border radius in different themes, but everything else I think should be the same. Icons, we don't need to change height and width for the themes. Elevation will also be the same. Opacity will be the same. The scroll bar color will change here. Okay, because in light theme we have this bright scroll bar, right, a light scroll bar. In dark theme we have a dark scroll bar right here. Same with over here too. See, that's light scroll bar. And we can also change the entire browser scroll bar, but I do not want to do that. I think it looks really silly if we change this main browser scroll bar. Okay, that's outside of our website, so I think it looks really stupid. But for our main app, we do want the scroll bar colors to change. So let's go ahead and do that for the dark theme also. So for the dark theme, the track will be, or maybe this is the scroll bar, not the track, will be of color 474747, and the track will be this this entire color, this 1FD, like we specified earlier. Let me copy and paste that. So the track will be just this color here. Okay, put that there. So we have not there, that should be there. Okay, and for tooltip background we will just have, I want to change this, but for now let's just have this 8E color. That's the tooltip. I do not like the background color, but for now that's okay. I'm not going to sit here and pick a nice color for it, okay, because picking up colors takes a lot of time. So that's the dark theme. Okay, so we have light theme and dark theme defined. What we'll do is we will export this mod light theme and mod dark theme. So if you come to utils and come to index ts, okay, let's remove that typography. We don't need that there. So let's import mod light theme, and let's also import mod dark theme. Okay, import mod dark theme. And then we will just export these two themes so that anybody can import it. Okay, so mod light theme and then mod dark theme. Okay, so let's save that. It's exported. So after this, what we are going to do is we will actually implement a theme provider, and this is really simple for now. So inside utils src components, okay, let's create a new folder here called mod theme provider, and inside this folder, inside mod theme provider, we're going to create a file called mod theme provider.tsx, and we will write a test for this. Okay, do not worry about testing right now, but for now let's just write this theme, and then we will come back to testing this maybe in the next few videos. Okay, but let's write the theme provider for this. And what I'm going to do is, just so that, because some people might be new to React or new to TypeScript or maybe even new to JavaScript, so whenever I'm writing code, because we're writing everything in TypeScript, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to write everything in plain JavaScript first, and then we will convert it to TypeScript, okay, or at least for the next few components, so that you have some experience writing TypeScript, okay, or converting JavaScript to TypeScript. So that's what we are going to do. Okay, so that's import React from React, and import theme provider. We will import theme provider from styled components. Okay, and we will import this theme provider as styled theme provider. Okay, so that from styled components, and let's just write plain JavaScript. Okay, and then we'll convert this to TypeScript. So let's write a mod theme provider component, and this will take, well, let's just write an arrow function now. Okay, this will take a children and theme as a prop, and this will return, and you'll see you are seeing a lot of error because we are not writing anything TypeScript. Okay, so in TSX file, when you do not write any, where you do not specify types for this, mainly for this children and theme prop, you see how they are red. See, we will need to specify types for this. Okay, and if it's not used, ESLint, or in this case TypeScript, is telling us that it's not used. Okay, styled theme provider, and this style theme provider again is, we are importing this from styled components. Okay, because we'll be using styled components in order to style our components. So let's end this theme provider from styled components expects a theme property, and this theme will contain a theme object. Okay, so in this case this theme will contain this either mod light theme or mod dark theme, or the end user's light theme or dark theme. Okay, or whatever the theme is. Okay, so let's specify theme and assign that to the theme object, and then we will just render children. Okay, children, so that's plain JavaScript there, and then we will export default this mod theme provider. So that's the plain JavaScript. There's no anything TypeScript going on. So let's convert this to TypeScript, and let's fix all these red things here. Okay, all the errors. So in order to, so this is plain JavaScript, plain JSX, right? There's nothing going on. But since we have specified our files to be file to be .tsx, that's a TypeScript with JavaScript. So that's why it is giving us an error, because the children and theme property are unused. Even if they are used, then it is going to give another error because we are using TypeScript. It will say that binding element children implicitly has any type. Okay, and I think in tsconfig we specified that any was not allowed. Okay, because if you are using like, I can fix this. Let's say that children, if I specify the property to be any, it is still going to give us an error, because if I'm using any, then there's no need to use TypeScript at all. Okay, so let's remove that for now, and then we will specify the proper type for the children and also for the theme. So in order to convert this JavaScript into a TypeScript, what we can do is, let's declare an interface first. So this is, and with TypeScript you can define types using either interface keyword or also using a type keyword. Okay, there's just a little bit of syntax different, but I am just going to use interface because that's what I'm used to doing. Okay, so I will do interface theme, assign that to a plain object for now, because this entire mod theme provider component, there are many more things that I want to, or functionalities that I want to add, but just for the simplicity we will just leave it to this for now, and as we go on we will keep making changes to this. So mod theme props. Okay, so define the interface called mod theme props, and this mod in the beginning is just my naming convention. Okay, you do not have to follow exactly this, and then of course your name is going to be different too, but you can just write as interface theme props, okay, instead of mod theme props, or do it on your same with the same organization name or your npm scope package name. Okay, so children, and children can be optional. Okay, we are not, it's better, well, it is better to enforce some rules, but the theme provider does not have to have any children. It should have children, but okay, we'll just specify that as optional using this question mark. So whenever you have a property and then question mark, it means that this property is optional. Okay, and we'll see this in just a bit here. React dot, the type of this children will be React or React node. Okay, so the mod theme provider we are rendering children here, right? So this children can be maybe a typography component, maybe a box component, maybe an accordion component. So those are all React Node, okay? Or in simple terms, those are all DOM elements, okay? Like div, h1, h2, p, all these tags, okay? So that's for children. Let's also specify a theme, provide a type for this theme object here. So this theme will be theme, okay? So this theme, we'll just set it to blank for now in order to get rid of this error. Okay, so we're still having that error because we defined the mod theme props. Okay, it's not used. This is from ESLint. We did it in part 3. Go and watch that if you have not configured ESLint, okay? And let me know if you have any problem, if you faced any problem with ESLint, okay? And this is actually from TypeScript ESLint, no unused var, see? So we're getting that nice warning there. But now we need to use this. So we defined the interface mod theme props. Let's specify over here. We will say that, okay, the props children and theme, the types are in mod theme props in that object there, okay? So now that's good. We're still having this error here. So this is a TypeScript error. Type theme undefined. Type theme or undefined is not assignable to type theme argument. So what we'll do is, in order to fix this, we will just do theme as, okay, the theme object as the theme property right on top here, which is currently empty, but we will change this as we go on, okay? So that's for the mod theme provider. Let's go ahead and export this mod theme provider component. So what we'll do is we'll come down to utils index.ts. We are only working with utils until now, okay? So let's go ahead and import that. Import mod theme provider from components, mod theme provider, right? And then we will just export this. Let's export this, and I'm sure we need to build this too. Let's open up terminal. Let's cd back to folders, okay? So let's go ahead and build this. Npm run build. And this is what are we building? Utils from the root folder, okay? This is the mono repo. If you have not watched my video about it took us 4 hours to set that up, go and watch that video completely, okay? From mod.js root, see, we have a script called build utils, okay? This is going to build the utils package that we are writing, all these themes. So npm run build utils. Let's see if there's any error. Everything ran successfully there, okay? Let's verify, because I don't think in the last video because this utils folder was a copy of core folder and I just renamed it. I don't think we checked it, okay? So under utils we have build folder, build CJS, we have component mod theme provider.js, that's good. And for under ESM, that's good. Assets, we have light theme, dark theme, good. See how all this, we wrote these themes in TypeScript.ts file, right? Now the Babel is transpiling those TypeScript files into just plain JavaScript files. So let's look at this. Mod light theme, dark theme.js, everything is the same because it's just a plain JavaScript, okay? There was no TypeScript in here. And then we will modify this to actually use TypeScript, because we have not defined any, well, we do not really need to define any types, because it is clear that the type property is to dark, means that it's a string, okay? But everything, the build is done. So now let's go ahead and let's verify the types too. So we have types for that. So now let's go ahead and use this theme in. So let's close this index.ts from utils. Utils is done, okay? Let's close the utils package. Let's come to this core package and use that theme, okay? So under core src, in the, not in the last video, the video before that, in part 3, we wrote a simple typography component, and also we wrote a spec file for that, where we just re-rendered a typography component to see that Cypress was working. So this typography component is of course not done, right? This was just a sample, but in order to see if theme is working, what we'll do is in typography.spec.tsx, what we can do is we will import that mod theme provider and mod light theme and dark theme from utils package, okay, that we just wrote. So import mod theme provider, and this import is not correct here. It is automatically doing add to something else, but we don't want that, because see, whenever, let me do that again because this is important. Okay, and so import mod theme provider from this packages. So this path is right, but what happens when we actually want to deploy this, and then we will have to go to each of the files. There's just going to be so many files in this project. If we do not do this in the first attempt, we'll have to just go through all these files and then make this right. Okay, so we don't want to do that. We want to make this right in the first attempt. Okay, so that we don't have to come back to this later, just changing the imports there. So this will be imported from mod.js/utils. Okay, and how is this possible? If you are wondering, well, this mod.js utils is not even installed. It's not in npm registry or anything. How can you import this mod theme provider? Go and watch part 4, the last video that I did about symbolic link, about npm link. Okay, but yeah, so we can import that from mod.js utils, mod theme provider. We'll also import mod light theme, and we'll also import mod dark theme. Okay, so mod light theme and mod dark theme, and so this will still be typography components. So now let's wrap this typography component with the theme provider. So mod theme provider. Okay, and let's put this typography component within that mod theme provider, and let's apply the theme object, because remember, if you look at the mod theme provider component here, remember this mod theme provider contains takes two parameters, or these are called props in React. Okay, this take a children, and this also takes a theme. Okay, the argument. So whenever we use this mod theme provider, we supply that theme to be, we can supply dark theme. Okay, so that it's visible, and the children is just this typography. Okay, so this is the React or React node, because remember, mod theme provider takes children and theme as those are the two parameters, children and theme, and then we need to supply the argument. Okay, but when we are talking about React, we call them props or properties. Okay, it's as simple as that. So this typography is the children, that is React or React node, that's the type of children, and this theme is mod dark theme. Okay, this theme, we will specify this as, this is object. Okay, because this, we are using this style theme provider from styled components, and styled components theme provider expect a theme property, and that should be set to object. Okay, so that's what we are doing. So let's come back here and let's save this, and let's run and see what we get. Okay, this is not going to work right now because we have not provided any provided the main layout, but let's go ahead and run it and see what we get. Okay, npm run test core. Okay, this will open up Cypress, and we'll see if this typography component is working. Okay, so component testing, and come to typography component. You see that there is no dark theme, even though we specified the theme to be dark theme, but we do not have any layout. Okay, so what we are going to do next is in core. Okay, this will be a div tag. Okay, because if we inspect the screen here, where is that? Here. Okay, this one is, we do not, this is, so this, if you look at this div here, this data-sci-root, this div is from Cypress itself. Okay, but we are not wrapping this h1 tag with anything, with any other div. Okay, but this is not our div, this is the div from Cypress. So we need to wrap the entire application with maybe a layout component or a layout div. Okay, and then that will apply the theme. But to show you other things, let's try a few things here. So no, we can't do that just yet. I was thinking of something else, but let's go ahead and fix this dark theme. Okay, because we want this background color to be dark when it's when the theme is dark. Okay, so under core, come to components. Okay, and in components there is already a typography component. We are going to create a new component called layout. Okay, so that's a new folder, and inside that layout folder, create a new file called layout.tsx. Okay, this layout component will be really simple. Let's import React. Okay, for now, and we will come back to these components. Right now we are focusing on theme, but this typographic component need to be thoroughly tested. This layout component also needs to be thoroughly tested, but for now, just to make sure that the theme is working, let's write a simple layout component. Okay, and we will import styled from styled components. That S, I believe, should be lowercase. I don't know if it works. I've not tried it if it's uppercase S, but let's write a plain JavaScript. As I said, let me not forget that, so that you understand how to convert JavaScript to TypeScript. Okay, style dot, we're going to take a div. Okay, so layout component will have a div, and this div will have a background color. So now this is where we'll be using that theme, because we want the background color of the main layout. This layout is everything that wraps up our application or the component. Okay, so if I come to this the documentation site here, you see this main div here. This it's right after body, there's this main div. So that's the layout component. Okay, this is what the component will be like. And in dark theme, the background color, as we specified in the theme, is 121111. Okay, if I switch to light theme, this background color is going to be FFF. Okay, so this div, you can see, is wrapping our entire application. See that blue sed whenever I hover over this div element, you see that blue thing that is wrapping up our entire application. That's how the theme is provided. Okay, let me switch to dark theme here, and then let's specify the background color. We are not going to hardcode the background color. We are going to use the background color from the theme. Okay, so from the theme object that we wrote. So let's come over here. Let's open up this mod light theme and dark theme. Let me remove a few things here. Let's open that typography component, because I am so much zoomed in. That's why I can't fit everything in here. But for this layout background, we want the background color of this layout to be this mode color. Okay, so if the theme is light, we will have a white color, and if the theme is dark, we will have this mode color of 121111. That's the dark color that you see everywhere on the background there. Okay, so let's specify this background color. So we will do props dot theme dot mode. Okay, so that is going to automatically take this mode color from mod dark theme if the theme is dark, and mod light theme if the theme is light. Okay, so that's background color. That's all this layout component does. And let's do const layout. Let's specify let's declare the layout component. This will take, of course, it will take children. Okay, just like before, and make sure you destructure this children, and it'll also take props and all that we will come when we actually finalize the layout component. Okay, but for now, just to see that the theme is working, let's just do that. Okay, and then we will return the mod layout component, the div that we wrote up there. So mod layout, and then this can contain any number of children. Okay, so, and then let's export default this layout. Okay, let's convert this to TypeScript here quick. So we are going to write interface. So that was the plain JavaScript before, right? Let's convert everything to TypeScript here. So I'm going to call it mod layout props, and you know what, let's not write extends, because this is not the final version of this layout component. Okay, we'll come back to this. Children, and let's make that optional. React now, just like before. Okay, we just want to see that the theme works and not worry about anything else. And just like with the typography component, what we need to do, we need to come up there, down there, and then specify that mod layout props. So now everything is green. So that's the mod layout, that's the layout component. Let's export this layout component. Okay, just like we did with typography. Come to index.ts in core. Okay, because these are all in core. Import layout from components layout, and let's export that. I'm going to keep this in alphabetical order here. So layout and typography. So we have layout, typography. So now let's come to this typography spec, and let's import that layout component. Okay, so import layout from layout slash layout. I think that's good. Yeah, layout slash layout. And then let's wrap. So right after mod theme provider, let's wrap this typography component with the layout component. Okay, layout, and then let's just copy this typography component, wrap it inside the layout component. Okay, so I think that should do the job. Let's go ahead and see. So now you can see that the heading tag is being wrapped with the layout component, and that layout component is defaults to dark. Okay, because we supplied over, it is currently dark because if you look at the code, we have specified the theme provider theme to be mod dark theme. But if I supply the light theme over here and come down here, see that the theme is light, and that the background color of white should still be there. See, before we had this div data sci root, but now we have this new div that is wrapping this as one tag, and this div will wrap our entire application, every single components, every single component in the application, okay, for the theming purpose. And then you can see that on the light theme, the background color is white. Okay, so, and of course this is because now we are testing, we are writing this in Cypress. We are not even testing anything yet. We are just rendering to see how things look and everything is working. Okay, we'll get into testing in a much greater detail soon in the upcoming videos. But for now, just to make sure that the theme is working, okay, you see that I think every things should be working here in theme. So let me, so that's light theme. Let's also write another, let's like render or not there, this should be in, well, let's copy that or cut that. So that's light theme. Let's also do that for dark theme so that we can see that everything works there. Okay, what happened here? Not that one there, that the fragment, these are called fragments. So whenever you have two React nodes, okay, so this one was one and this one was one, it needs to have at least one parent. Okay, if it doesn't have parent, we just provide this fragment. And the benefit of this, instead of like, we could wrap this in a div, right, in order to get rid of that fragment error. We could wrap this in a div, but then that is going to render an extra node or div node in the DOM, which can be heavy. So we don't want to do that. But if we remove this, and this is a very simple React thing if you do not know, but see how there is an error because this is not being wrapped with anything on the top. There are two mod theme provider, so that's why we need to provide that fragment. Okay, so that it has at least one parent. So let's go ahead to Cypress and then see it's already being rendered. The first thing is white in color. There are some quotes, I don't know what they are appearing there, but it's just because of that. And I think Prettier is doing this. Okay, no, that works. So yeah, that is the light theme on the top, that is the dark theme. Okay, so I think that should be it for theming. And in the next one, I'm not sure if we will be talking about testing because we have not written any test. And there and for this layout component, typography component, the other one was theme provider. So I think we should start talking about test in the next video. Okay, if I remember anything else that needs to be done that I think is important to understand before we actually start writing test or start writing any components, I want to make sure that we have all the bases covered before we do that. So I think let me close some of this so that the next time we come here we have everything the same. Okay, so let's remove that and then let's close that, and that's all for theming in React. And of course, when using it in a real world application, we do not want to supply the hard-coded value like we did earlier, right? We want a button to be clickable, and we can switch to light theme and dark theme, and this is what we'll do in the real application, okay? But not when we are writing or testing in Cypress. We do not want to do that, because we are testing each component in isolation. We will be testing each component in isolation, okay? But in the end, yeah, we will have a button so that user can switch to light theme and dark theme, and these are all stored in local storage. So if I go to storage here, click on storage, you see that there's a theme object. Currently theme is dark. If I switch to light theme, the thing is going to change. See, theme is light. So that's all about theme, and I will see you in the next one. See